The AI landscape is changing and it's changing fast. From the launch of ChatGPT to chatbots to AI voice agents to MCPs to providing robust AI transformation solutions, we're in the most competitive, fast paced landscape, and everybody's trying to adapt and see what is going to be the next thing, and not only what's going to be the next technological things that supposedly provides massive value, but how we can actually apply this for either our business or our clients' businesses if we're providing this as a service. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the AI business model that nobody's talking through. And after working with more than 50 businesses, 7, 8, and even 9-figure businesses by implementing different AI solutions, whether that would be cold outreach systems with AI personalization, AI voice agents through our AI receptionist platform, or providing more robust reporting systems, data, and analytics that gives them visibility and competitive edge of what's going on, to content creation, to literally creating a robust system of all of these things together, I'm going to share some of the insights that I'm observing. So if you're a business owner, you're going to be able to pinpoint what are the things that you need for your business, and you could start leveraging and start stacking on top of each other. You at least know what are the kind of people that you would be looking to hire and how to vet them out and how to say exactly what you need. And if you're an AI expert and you provide this as a service, you'll be able to know how to package it better, how to charge premium prices, and how to position yourself so you're not priced with the $2,000 one-off builds chatbots guys out there. And that's going to put you out of the game where you have to spend weeks on end negotiating with businesses to only get a project, spend a couple of weeks building it, troubleshooting it, to then have the business owner say it doesn't work as they intended to, or have them not leverage at all. And then you have to rebuild that from scratch. So I'm going to share the AI business that nobody's talking about. And my name is Simeon, Krastev, founder of WellGrow, an AI transformation company where we're helping businesses start implementing different AI solutions to solve the biggest pain points they're experiencing. And what I see is that everybody's doing AI wrong, me included, for the first year of building that. And the market is getting more saturated with misguided approaches that fail to deliver the real business value, which is the ultimate goal of the AI solutions we provide. Sure, you could use ChatGPT, Midjourney to build creative projects, side things, and just express your creativity. But if you're like me, you're looking for tangible value that you can implement in your business and make more with the tools that you're paying for month over month. And what I see is that a lot of the people looking for solutions are a little bit like the people trying to lose weight. They're looking for the tool, and I would say I need a diet plan. I need to know what to eat to lose the weight. They're not looking for a holistic approach. So the same goes with the AI solutions now. Businesses that want more leads, they would say something along the lines of, I need an AI voice agent, or I need an AI chatbot to reply to leads, or I need an AI outbound system. But the reality is that they're needing a complete holistic overview of the system that helps them achieve a tangible outcome. They don't need the tool. So for example, if you would want to lose weight, you would need nutrition, you would need accountability, and you would need workouts. So you need the combination of these three in a certain period of time to achieve the result of weight loss. And same goes for AI transformation. And you as a provider, you would be doing a disservice if you're just selling a chatbot to your client, because that's not the end goal they need. And because we're such an early stage of the market where essentially everybody is figuring stuff out and nobody knows what they really need, and that's why they're asking for these things in the first place, is putting you in a position that you have to deliver those services, even though it's something that deep inside that is not going to deliver the ultimate value for the business. And on the other end, because business owners are still new to this AI game, to this AI thing, they often hear things that are spoken about in business conferences, or they see their peers talk about AI chatbots, voice agents, or complex end-to-end workflows, and they're jumping on the bandwagon and they want them installed in their business without fully understanding how they can leverage. So this is the birth of the so-called low-value services that put the service providers in the shoes of tech support or a glorified developer, and sometimes not even a developer, but more so like a tech person. And then a lot of those tools, they work great once you build it and demo it, but then comes the second question, which is the fact that the business needs to use those tools. And often the way they're built, they live within the no-code account, or they live on a server, on a backend, and they're not easily accessible by your clients. And therefore, that often leads to you having to either support the tools, launch the campaigns for them, run the system, which the business owner is not happy about because they have to pay you month over month. Or if you tell them to do it, they simply forget, they don't do it, and then they discard the system and say that it doesn't work, because at the end of the day, a lot of the things we're still building with AI, they're not independent, they can't run by themselves. You still need a human behind it to be guiding, navigating, tweaking, modifying. And with a lot of the one-off solutions, it simply doesn't work because unlike ChatGPT, you can't conversationally trigger and launch the systems. Which brings me to the next point, is that most of the businesses are looking for solutions, especially the small to mid-sized businesses. Most of their solutions are tailored towards marketing and generating more leads, generating more sales for their business. And a lot of the AI solutions you would be providing would be targeting those. And one of the bigger pain points there is that they're spending a lot of money on marketing activities, whether that would be through hiring reps, like outbound call centers, running meta advertising, doing cold outbound emails, doing content. They're allocating percentage of their budget towards the activity of the company to drum more business, get more people through the door. And oftentimes they have no idea how that budget is performing across the different channels. What is the ROI? And that's why they're hopping from solution to another, trying to get more ideas and more ways to bring more leads without ever tracking what's going on. And it leads also to the fourth thing that I get to notice, which is the blind sales management. And it's often the fact that a lot of the business owners, they're already paying their human team a huge amount of money to manage activities that they can't oversee. Maybe they have a call center, maybe they have people that are fulfilling the function of sales, marketing, but they don't get the data real time. Sure, they discuss every couple of months, but it leads to slow decisions and oftentimes burn budget. And that's where AI is coming in, and that's what it can help with to smaller businesses, because ultimately the difference between a small, medium, and a large corporation business is the ability to take data and act upon those decisions. And in the past, large corporations and big businesses, they just had more data because they're spending more, they're buying more data, they have more people analyzing, they're paying consultancy groups millions of dollars per year to get insights and get people to take information and apply to their business. So they have leverage of that over a small business that is just starting. Now with AI, we all are on a leveled playing field. And if you can leverage AI to get that data real time, it would improve your feedback loop, meaning that you would be able to do decisions much faster, test things much faster, and give you the ultimate edge over your competitors, because that's what AI really tries for. And just to show you an example, oftentimes when business owners come to us, they say, oh, I saw this system that you've built, looks like something that I would need for my business. I need an AI voice agent, or I need a chatbot, or I need this outbound system that you've done. But the reality is that they want a complete system from start to finish that gives them visibility on every channel real time, so they can tie it up to the business outcomes that they have, whether that's going to be more leads this week, more sales, more consultations if they're running a service-based business, more funded deals if they're running a lending company. So whatever is their business model, they just need to have a real-time data that they can talk to, generated through the AI systems you're providing. And sure, on the back end, you can build these complex systems. I'm not against them. I love the no-code builders. I love N8N. I love Make.com. We've built dozens of solutions for our clients. It is the fastest way to go to market, to deploy a strategy and test it. And now even with Claude, you can build those. You can say exactly what you need, and it would scope out the whole thing for you. And if you have a couple of hours available, you can build it yourself. But the next level would be to combine that data, hook it up to a visual dashboard, and have an MCP, meaning easy way for AI model to be able to access these workflows and do changes on your behalf. And this is what's the future of AI systems. Businesses will want custom built apps that work alongside their sales cycle and sales flow and provide first an AI solution that solves that particular pain point, but also visibility over that solution, how it's working, and giving direct access to the key decision makers of the company, either automated, so it's continuously happening, or also interactive, so the business owner with a few simple words could leverage your tools, your systems, without having to log in and look at the complex web charts and troubleshoot and try to figure stuff out. And this is the shift I've been seeing, that a lot more companies are asking not about workflow solutions, AI agents, but more so visibility over their business and having AI report and give them stats, data, and information. And this is the difference between an AI builder and being able to charge $1,000, $2,000 versus somebody that charges premium for their services. And oftentimes, if people come to you and they want this thing built out, they normally can build it themselves if they took the time, but they're just lazy. They don't want to do it. So they're looking for somebody to do it for cheap enough because they don't really see the tangible value for their business. That's why they're negotiating the price, because they can't understand that they're not solving a pain point. They're putting like a little band-aid that's not going to solve anything. And this is going to be the next stage, the business intelligence AI transformation partner. Because now with AI, you'll be able to see visibility over marketing channel performance, and you'll be able to track cost per lead, conversion rates, ROI across all channels, because now you have the Facebook ads MCP, you have your CRM MCP that gives you visibility on the back end. You can hook up the MCP to Zapier and connect it to any other tool you have. You'll be able to track your sales rep effectiveness, because now you can track all of that data and you can create robust powerful charts with BPower or any other visualization tool, build a custom dashboard as well. You'll be able to track customer health scores based on the data you have in your CRM, and AI will be able to pinpoint trends and alerts based on previous data that your systems have. And then that would allow for operational efficiency and give a lot more visibility to the business owner to shorten the feedback loop and feedback cycle, and also solve the bottlenecks much faster, allowing them to scale further and allocate their marketing budgets and budgets overall towards productive activities. And more so, it's going to give them financial ROI tracking. And oftentimes companies, and at least like the middle level management, really hate when we come in, because oftentimes before us, the business owner was relying on data provided by their mid-level management. And as you all well know, the mid-level management tries to make the C-level executives happy, and they're often skewed data, or they misrepresent data by providing insights that they think they're relevant, or things that are good, such as we've got X amount of impressions, we've got X amount of leads, but they don't give their C-level suite full visibility over the entire pipeline, what's going on. And when we come in and we expose those issues, it gives us a troubling reality for most of the companies, and we immediately pinpoint where they're losing dollars, and that often results into them either having to allocate budget to different initiatives, fire people, in some cases. Not that it's something I'm proud of, but sometimes it just happens that there was somebody within the organization that wasn't doing a great job, and they've been masking it for years because they've been the bridge between the data that's coming into the business to feeding it up top. So now with a solution like that, even as a small business or medium-sized business, you would have visibility over everything that's going on. So why is that important? Now, not only they can see every channel and what's going on, but now they have the visibility and the analysis from AI giving feedback real time every single day. And it's like having a coach. And it's very hard when you work in a fast-paced environment and there's a lot of things going on in your company. Sure, you do the daily huddles, you have meetings, but there's nobody really sitting and giving you feedback on your performance real time. Whereas with AI, especially for sales functions, marketing, you can really feed the data and the campaigns you're doing, and AI is immediately giving you feedback on day one, what could be improved, what you could change. And of course, you take that with a grain of salt, but now you have much faster feedback loops, so you no longer have to rely on your peers or somebody that is superior over you. But now, at least for the lower level functions or functions that require a lot more testing, such as marketing, content, even for sales roles, how to navigate the conversation, how to adapt your script based on changes of the market, based on the sophistication of the market, as you got to be on the pulse of the market. Things are ever changing, and AI is able to spot that because it has the data from yesterday, from the week before. So it can really spot seasonal trends, changes, modifications, and stacked up on top with the agents such as AI voice agents. I have a bunch of videos on my channel where I can show you how to install an AI sales infrastructure to nurture your leads effectively, having the AI outbound campaigns, having onboarding systems, having content systems. You can now really create more of a solution that allows you to leverage one or two people within your team to be able to execute what normally took 10 to 15. And I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing, but more so as an efficiency thing. So you'd have companies with a lot less employees making a lot more money, and that's going to lead to the people within the companies being compensated. And yeah, sure, some people will have to find a new way to work, but I think with AI, they'll be a lot more effective. There'll be a lot more companies. There'll be a lot more people doing great things and pursuing their passion. And also, we're going to be able to adapt our products and services to the needs of our customers. And unlike a SaaS platform that charges $30,000 to $50,000 a year in the enterprise market, and it's a market I've been a customer of because I worked, as I said, in a multinational company. I was managing $250,000 per year budget for software alone. And I know how this works. And normally they just assign you a rep and they give you a customized, templated SaaS solution that you and your business use, and they give you X amount of seats. Whereas now with AI, you can build solutions that solve a specific pain point that this particular department within that company solves, and you can really customize it to them. So they're not only using it, but they're leveraging the data in a way that is helpful to their organization, their sales cycle, their internal processes, and that makes it super, super powerful. So that's going to be the next trend. And as a service provider on the other end, it puts you in a position so you get a lot higher value out of your customers, and it's a win-win for both parties, because at the end of the day, it's super hard to find a provider that you're happy with. As a business owner, you have to talk to a bunch of people, and it's like finding an employee. You would have to do probably hundreds of interviews to find this, as I like to call it, like the golden goose, the person that you're aligning with, that has the skills, that has done it before, that can deliver value, that is a good communicator, that is a good culture fit. So if you as a service provider, you could do that to the company, and you have a solution that the company can leverage and solve future problems in their business and you're the provider that offers that, they would be more than happy to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of charging one-off solution for a chatbot or a voice agent or whatever is the initial thing you're providing. So from that perspective alone, that's also a great incentive for both parties, because at the end of the day, if the business is generating more revenue through the solutions you're providing, they will be happy paying you over and over again, because it's hard to vet partners, it's hard to find solution providers, it's hard to find agencies that keep their promises, it's hard to find somebody that is a good communicator. So if you're all of these things, you can position yourself as an AI business intelligence partner, integrating all of those systems, and you could charge a monthly retainer from $7,000 to $15,000 a month to fulfill all of these functions, because once you understand how prompting works, what are the business functions, how to tie in all the systems together, how to work with MCPs, with APIs, and create a robust system, now you become a vetted partner and you replace 4 or 5 functions that normally a small to mid-sized business simply can't afford because of the price tag that they come with. It's also a long-term strategic partnerships for both parties, because on one end, you have somebody that now fully understands your business and is able to apply AI in a smart way rather than a technological provider that comes in and you tell them I need a chatbot and they build you a simple chatbot for a fixed fee and they hand it off and then they leave and go to get the next client because they're not invested into growing your business. They couldn't care less about the outcome. So it's not win-win for both parties. And you can't expect for somebody to be compensated for $2,000, $3,000 a month to them spend weeks and months thinking about how it's going to grow and fix your business magically. It's just not aligned incentive. So just from that perspective alone, the partnerships would make a lot more sense, because you would have somebody that would spend the time to understand the business, to understand the processes, and see how they can structure and leverage those solutions in the most cost-effective way. Because at the end of the day, if you're not delivering the value as a partner to justify the price you're getting paid, they're of course going to cancel. And on the other end, you're going to be an essential part of the business. So that would give you the longevity, the capital, and also the leverage to be able to build a complete infrastructure that you can now go and take a couple of clients as a partner. And as a solution provider, now you're becoming more effective in a vertical. You get the deep insights and knowledge that previously, again, was locked in for big corporations that had massive budget for consulting companies, buying reports and data. Whereas now with AI, you can have that. On the other end, the dying service of chatbots and N8N workflows is dying, because now with every new OpenAI upgrade, ChatGPT upgrade just launched, ChatGPT 5, you can just say, I want to build X, Y, and Z within make.com, and it would literally spit out the whole thing for you. Just follow the steps and you can do it yourself. So the technological component is going to be dead. It's going to get commoditized, and it's already commoditized, but it's going to get even worse. And oftentimes you would be competing with overseas people trying to cut down the price and get multiple quotes. So that's why I think the future of positioning yourself both as a service provider and as somebody buying those services, you would be looking for a strategic partner rather than somebody to execute one-off task and project. And there's 2 ways about pricing, and I've had an open discussion with my clients, because at the end of the day, I couldn't care less. And of course, this is my ultimate goal, but at the end of the day, there's abundance of everything. That's what I believe. So even if I'm on a sales call with somebody, I don't want them to become a client at all expense. If it's not a cultural fit, if we don't vibe with each other, if I don't believe there's value to be provided, so both sides could win, if I don't believe that the solutions that we could provide would help the business grow, we wouldn't be aligned. But I've been discussing openly what are some of the structures that could provide both the business alignment with the service provider, and on the other end, provide the service provider with the stability and the thought process of partnership, rather than, okay, I'm going to fulfill whatever this client asks for and move on to the next person. And the first option would be the strategic retainer, which is normally how bigger agencies work. But I think as an AI service provider and transformation partner, this incentive is really aligned, because there's often the fact that most businesses, they have constant demands, especially if they're in a fast growth phase. They have new incentives, new things they want implemented in their business. So they have this constant cycle of new requests. And if you have to quote for each and every single request, it becomes this tedious cycle of you having to send them invoices and quotes. Whereas if you just have a flat monthly retainer, which would be reasonably priced, like a full-time employee within a mid-level function, so that would be 7 to 12K a month, you could provide that business with unlimited requests for any of the AI fulfillment needs that they have. And you knowing their business now in and out, you can be guiding those initiatives, fulfilling on it, whether that would be through third-party providers you're leveraging, whether that's your existing team of developers. But that's one great incentive for you to be aligned and be strategically thinking about how to grow with that partner and build it. The second option, which is something that I prefer, especially with how fast things are growing and how more and more companies would need to get those people, because there's going to be a demand for people that understand AI and are able to apply it in practical ways for businesses, would be the performance partnership. Sure, there's going to be maybe a small retainer to cover the cost of the build, because you have developers, you have systems, you have tools that you got to pay, but then it's also about the long-term strategic partnerships, and that would entail either a percentage of revenue share, percentage of profit generated through the systems you provide for the business. And again, that gives you unlimited upside potential and a lower risk for the business, because you come in as a strategic partner, leveraging all your insights and knowledge within a space that you spend years perfecting, mastering, and the data you've been getting through all of the solutions you've been providing to now apply to that business and grow with it. So first, as an agency provider, these two models provide you with fewer clients that you can focus more of your attention to, rather than having 10 $2,000 per month chatbot clients. And also, as a business, it gives you a premium talent at a fraction of the cost. Because if you have to look at the positioning shift, there's a few things that are important. And here I have just the breakdown of what normally would cost for your clients to get a team to be able to give them that value from the solutions you could provide. So when you look at a data scientist, that would cost you $150,000 per year. If you look at an AI engineer, that starts at $300,000 a year right now in the US. If you look at BI developer, which is the visualization expert, that's another $200,000. If you look at an integration specialist, that's another $125,000. So you're looking at almost $500,000 to almost $1 million per year cost, full-time staff of people that need to be trained, managed, and you have to overlook what they're doing just to be able to get that data and insights that you normally need for your business, especially if you're at the stage where you're scaling. Now you have marketing spend, you're getting visibility, and you coming in as a growth provider priced at $80,000 to $120,000, even $180,000 per year. That's a no-brainer for the business, because you fulfill more of those functions and you leverage the expertise you've built. Now, oftentimes when businesses come to you, they're not going to ask for those specific things, right? They're going to say something along the lines of, oh, I want to automate this, or I have this specific pain point. But the reality is that you have to ask the most important question is, what is the bigger problem we solve here? What important decisions you're making without enough data? Because this guides the conversation to where it needs to go. If somebody wants an AI voice agent or chat agent, the reality is that probably they want a better lead nurturing process to make sure that they get more leads into their pipeline or booked appointments, because they're spending money and they see that they generate a lot of leads, but they're not getting enough bookings. So this is the problem they're optimizing for. So now you need to design that journey and see what are the solutions you could provide to solve that particular problem. And once you know what is the bigger problem you're solving, you can position your AI intelligence solution and pitch yourself as an AI transformation partner. And sure, you could have a one-off solution such as a chatbot or a voice agent or something to get your foot in the door, because that would be the intro offer. And I understand the skepticism of businesses as well, especially if you've just started working with a provider. Everybody's talking a lot on the internet, but you have no idea if they will be able to fulfill on their promises. It's a very new space, so there's going to be a lot of scammers generally. There's going to be a lot of people promising the world and not fulfilling anything. So you got to be mindful on both sides. But once you vet a partner and you see that they have the traits and the characteristics that you and the party are both aligned with, then you would be shifting towards the AI transformation partnership role, because it's a win-win for both sides. Now, what's important to leverage, and what I see more and more of, is that with AI, you can personalize a lot of the sales conversations you're having. You can feed the transcripts of the sales calls and personalize demos. You can reuse real data from their business to feed it over in AI again and provide some strategic guidance and solutions and implementations of things that could be built. And you can immediately identify 3 to 5 specific opportunities where they're leaving money on the table and position those solutions as something that you can come in and implement within a matter of the next 2, 3, 5, 6 months, however long it's going to take. And you can immediately demonstrate how much time, money, and energy it's going to save them. And when CEOs can see their marketing ROI for the first time, the conversation is over. That's literally it, because they can now tie in whatever's the solution you're providing to a meaningful outcome for their business, which is more money in their pocket or growing their revenue if they're a venture-backed company. And that's what they're trying to do right now. So as I said, this won't last forever. This is the current stage of the market, because there is an enterprise perception, meaning that this solution normally was restricted to businesses with massive budgets. For us, just thinking for one simple change in solution, we would be paying $50,000 easy just to get it going. And it would normally take 3 to 4 months back and forth with the company, tons of meetings. Whereas now you could do it at a fraction of the cost. Then the consulting alternative from big corporate companies, that's McKinsey, that charges $500,000 a year for similar business intelligence consulting. And then you have enterprise software, which is the Salesforce customizations that are starting at $100,000 a year, again, with the ongoing costs and customizations depending on how many seats. And you tying up all of these things together with AI and becoming a transformation partner, you could charge a percentage of that and still deliver that massive value. So if you combine all of these things together, you're positioned better both as a business because you can leverage what massive companies only had before, and as a service provider because now you can use tools that are accessible at a fraction of the cost, sometimes even on a per usage basis, and provide something really tangible. And I'm going to show you what are the tools that I'm currently using. So we have Claude's MCP, which is essentially model context protocol that allows you to connect different tools, CRM systems, Facebook ads, whatever is the tool stack that the business is using, and giving you direct no code chat interface so you can interact with that data and have AI intelligence processing that data for analysis and insights generation. Then you have the no-code platforms such as N8N, Make.com, Zapier, BuildShip, or anything that exists out there that you could leverage to build agents and again connect it to that MCP. Then you have the API integrations of almost each and every tool. So that's why it's important that all of the businesses that you talk to, you also guide them through the tool stack that they have. Many of our clients, they started 5, 10, 20 years ago, and over the years, they've accumulated a tool stack that served the specific need of the business at that time. But many of those tools, they're a legacy tool that they don't have the MCP availability. They don't have open APIs. They have restrictions, and that makes it very hard for their business to be ready for the AI transformation. So the only thing that they can do now is just to bolt on things on top of it and create a Frankenstein. So that's what we always tell them. Rethink your tool stack and see if it's going to be positioned for the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And sometimes us coming in would simply mean that we have to do a restacking of your tools, get you what you need to make sure that you're accomplishing the business objectives that you need, get the visibility you need, get the data you need, and be able to train and work with your team. It also gives you live data updates, providing timely business intelligence. I can't tell you how many CEOs I'm talking to and have absolutely no idea what's going on with their business. And if I go down the chain, they say, oh, talk to this person. That person also doesn't know. And then I have to go to the bottom of the chain to actually be able to figure out what exactly to say and shift, for example, in the marketing, in the sales messaging, and be able to craft these systems better. So you as a service provider, you have the real ability to take that information and provide it as a service to your clients. Or if you're a business, again, you would want to save all of that cost and leverage somebody that could help you do these things within your business. And I mean, I really don't like to go over objections and the typical sales modifications of how to make the prospect say yes, because I think that often the objections come through the lack of information. And if you show your clients in a visible way how the solution that you would implement would tangibly, realistically, statistically, going to help them improve their business, whether that's going to be through saving them money, leveraging their existing team and freeing up their time so they can put it towards more strategic initiatives, or generating more business, you're not adding costs to their business. You're actually maximizing their existing investments because they already have the infrastructure that they're paying for. And most clients are already spending 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on marketing and sales. And usually they don't have any visibility over it. So you coming in and giving them that immediately improves their bottom line and helps them get more out of their budget. So why I think that's the future, it's a win-win for both parties. You're going to get a lot higher LTV for your clients. You're going to have a lot higher client retention, and you're going to be able to deliver a lot higher value. They're going to talk highly of you. You're going to get more referrals and recommendations, and you're going to have higher LTV per each individual client. It's going to be something that you could easily replicate and scale across clients, at least within the same vertical, because with all the AI tools, once you build the infrastructure, you can just replicate it and clone it per client, adapt it to their needs, and of course, modify it in the way that it works. But also, as a business owner, it makes sense for you to leverage that at a fraction of the cost. Why wouldn't you? And if you watch that video until the end and you think you need to start leveraging AI in your business, you just don't know where to start, you're at a healthy level over 7 figures per year, you have some capital to deploy, feel free to book a call in the link below, as I'm taking a few more clients that we could implement a full AI transformation for their business, AI receptionist, chatbots, data infrastructure integration. You can think of custom solution built and dedicated for your business to solve the most pressing problems you're experiencing on a daily basis at a fraction of the cost of an enterprise team that you would get. And if you're on the AI agency and provider side, there's a bunch of videos on my channel where I break down all of the nitty-gritty and the tactical systems that we could implement for businesses to help them get more business, save them money, make their life easier, and things you could resolve. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.